All right. Good morning, y'all. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Um, my name is Mike Sullivan. I am SBP's National Director of AmeriCorps. Grateful to be with you this morning. Just a couple welcome announcements as we get started. We are very excited to have y'all here for this engaging and collaborative session. And to ensure a smooth experience for everyone involved, we would ask that you kindly observe some professional video call etiquette. So as a reminder, please mute yourself. Keep yourself on mute when you're not speaking. This will reduce background noise and enhances the clarity of our discussions. Please remember to use the chat and emojis. The chat feature is a fantastic way to interact and celebrate with fellow participants. You can share your thoughts, your questions, and we love the use of emojis to express agreement, applause, and excitement. We will have some breakout rooms involved in today's session, this morning's session. So when we head into breakout rooms, please remember to actively participate and engage in the conversation. This is a great opportunity to connect with others and to share ideas. So let's make the most of our time together this morning by fostering a respectful and interactive environment. Thank you for your cooperation. I am stoked on this morning's presentation. And with that, I would like to turn it over to our MC for the morning, Brandon Sertain.
Morning. You mind going to the next slide, Mike? Each of us does makes a world of difference. Dr. King. All of us are helping fulfill Dr. King's mandate of building the beloved community. But in reflection on Dr. King's work, it is important to remember that his achievements were born of unseen struggles. This year, we wanted to focus on the struggles, doubts, and sacrifices made in pursuit of building the beloved community. In remembering the struggles, we can reflect on our own journey and the challenges we face in continuing Dr. King's work. Lastly, we want to acknowledge those who are finding new ways to help their communities. You might go to the next slide. Today, we come together to honor the life, work, and vision of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a visionary leader who envisioned the beloved community. As we embark on this day of reflection and service, it's worth noting that AmeriCorps, a symbol of commitment to service, is celebrating its 30th year. This milestone underscores the enduring power of individuals coming together for a common cause, echoing the spirit of Dr. King's dream. MLK Day holds a unique distinction as the only federally recognized holiday dedicated to service. In the very year AmeriCorps volunteers joined forces, MLK Day received federal recognition, emphasizing the impact individuals can have when they unite in service. Dr. King once said, "What each of us does makes a world of difference." These words hold a profound truth. Service is not confined to grand gestures or organized projects. It starts with the simple acts of treating everyone you encounter with dignity and respect. Keeping the spirit of service alive in your heart. As Angelina wisely put it, we don't have to be in a large group to make a difference. Let's take a moment to reflect on the challenges Dr. King faced in his journey to build the beloved community. His path was not without hardship, and yet he persevered. Today, we stand on the shoulder of those who came before us, carrying the responsibility to continue the work of unity. Unity is a recurring theme in Dr. King's legacy. How can each of us play a part in building community and fostering unity? It starts with a personal commitment. You are not just a member of this team, you are part of a broader community. The call to action is clear: engage. Engage with your colleagues, your neighbors, and your community. It starts with you, individually and collectively. Service, Dr. King believed, should be woven into the fabric of our lives. It's not a one-time event, it's a journey. As we go through life, let's carry the torch of service with us, illuminating the path for others to follow. Now, I invite you to consider the challenges we face when striving to build the beloved community. What obstacles stand in our way, and how can we overcome them? This is not just a rhetorical question, it's an opportunity for self-reflection and collective problem solving. In closing, let's embrace this MLK Day of Service with a renewed commitment to unity, community, and service. Remember, it starts with you, but it doesn't end there. Together, let's build the beloved community that Dr. King envisioned, one act of service at a time. Thank you, and let's make this MLK Day truly impactful.
Hey, Andy, we're not hearing any sound.
We're not hearing it.
Correct.
Okay, 1 second.
I think this is the perfect example of steering through turbulence. And I will just go ahead and start my part, Andy. My name is Maxine Small, and I'm a disaster associate with the DAP program. And it is my pleasure and my privilege to introduce the speaker for the 2024 SBP Martin Luther King program. So, Andy, if you get to that slide. So I will introduce to some and present to others, no other than Kyle Carson.
Thank you, Maxine, and good morning, everybody. AmeriCorps members, staff, anyone else who's celebrating today with us the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King. For those of you who might not know me or don't know me very well, my name is Kyle Carson. I'm the Chief People Officer here at SBP, and I got my start at SBP as an AmeriCorps member. I served 2 terms of service in 2013 through 2015 in New Jersey in Ocean and Monmouth counties following Hurricane Sandy. Now, I'm honored to serve our team here at SBP as the Chief People Officer overseeing the human resources function. I'm also honored to have the chance today to celebrate the life and teachings of Dr. King with our team on the anniversary of his birth and an AmeriCorps National Day of Service. Dr. King said, and you probably have heard this quote before, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. So for me, I'm certainly no stranger to service to others. I grew up in Dallas. I attended a high school that required seniors to complete a couple hundred hours of community service before graduating. At that time, my monumental and impactful service efforts volunteering in high school revolved around volunteering in an aquarium. A for-profit aquarium. And granted, it was dedicated to conservation, but that isn't exactly what I think of when I think of Dr. King's call to service today. At that time, I was also a Boy Scout. And again, I was required to complete a service project in order to earn the Eagle Scout Award. But that was just it. Those were requirements to me then. I was going through the motions of service, and at that point in my life, I really saw service as something that led to something else. And while, of course, my service then helped others, for me, it was transactional, honestly. It was this give to get mentality that is not at the heart of what it means to help others. It really wasn't until I started service with AmeriCorps in SBP, that idea of service, that real idea, really permeated into who I consider myself to be today. And that's when I got it. This simple idea of wanting to better the lives of others because I had the opportunity to make a difference. Now that I, for the most part, sit behind a desk and I don't interact with our clients day to day like I did as a project lead, I find my energy, my drive in seeing your work direct with clients, this service to our community that's impacted by natural disasters. And that's what gives me hope for our country. So today, as we gather to honor for Martin Luther King, we stand not only in commemoration of a visionary leader, but also as the embodiment of a dream. And honestly, it's a dream that aligns really well with our mission here at SBP. Dr. King's vision of the beloved community is a mosaic of human decency, of equality, of universal fellowship, and that beloved community replaces the affliction of poverty, of hunger, of humans who are unhoused. The vision that he had isn't some majestic, unattainable dream that's out of our reach. It's really a blueprint, and it takes work, it takes effort. It takes this shared belief that we can, in fact, achieve Dr. King's vision in our lifetime. I think if any one of us here thought that service to others was a waste of time, you wouldn't be here at SBP. You wouldn't be relentlessly dedicating your efforts to prevent our clients from reaching their breaking point, and on a bigger scale, fighting to end the inequity that exists throughout our country's traditional disaster recovery model. The beloved community Dr. King spoke of is the global vision. It's a world where all people share in the earth's wealth. It's a world where injustice, discrimination, violence, those things are replaced by peace, by justice, by love. So in this world, our differences aren't barriers, they're strengths, strengths that contribute to the harmony and prosperity of our society. And while I think about those barriers to realizing this beloved community, I think about what stands in our way. I think about our country and what it means to be a part of our current society. I think about the news cycle. I think about politics. I think about capitalism and division and consumerism and social media, all those things that are relentlessly telling us what we should be or what we need to be. And they say what we need is more and more and more and more. So let's take that idea of needing more and more and more, and let's do something good with it. Let's apply it to help others. This is actually something we need more of, right? It's what we should be echoing in our collective minds, this true desire for love, for more justice, for more peace. And that's what Dr. King believed. And it's something that I know can be achieved when we share this simple belief together. So I want everybody to take a moment now to reflect. Whatever your outlook on life is, some people are optimists, pessimists, cynics, realists, idealists, otherists. But take a moment to really think about what realizing the beloved community could look like if we wanted more nonviolence and more peace and more love. Now think about what's stopping us from achieving that goal. More importantly, as an individual, as you're listening to me right here, right now, think about one thing you can do every day to work towards building the beloved community. Even if that one thing is small, that's how it starts. I'm sure we've all heard the expression, many hands make light work. Can't that be true for Dr. King's vision too? If every person across our country woke up tomorrow and committed themselves to service, to the betterment of society, would it take that long to realize Dr. King's dream? You know, even the smallest of changes brings us that much closer to realizing the beloved community. And there's something about service to others that sticks. It's sticky. It reverberates inside of us when given a chance. Maybe not much at first for those who aren't accustomed to it, like me in high school as a Boy Scout. As in high school and for graduating high school for the 200 hours of service. But those things reverberate. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here. You all are here at SBP serving in AmeriCorps or working as a staff member, but that reverberation starts small. It can start small and it begins to build and echo and swell, and then it's part of who we are. Service to others really is infectious in the best possible way. And it can start with the smallest of actions. And that's my ask of you today. Spread that idea and let it spread like a fire to those around you. Those people who are in your lives, be an example, be that change. So with the idea of the beloved community, I want to bring us to SBP for a moment and how the work that we do and you do in service every day reverberates this idea of the beloved community. So at SBP, we commit ourselves daily to this vision through a comprehensive approach to disaster recovery. It's at the heart of our mission. It's the recognition that disasters don't affect everyone equally. They often strike the most vulnerable populations with the harshest of impacts. I remember my time as an AmeriCorps member on the Jersey Shore. It was a tiny beach town called Seabright following Superstorm Sandy. Seabright has a population of around 1,500 people, and most of them have lived there for generations in modest, unassuming homes. Yet situated around these working class families are multi-million-dollar mansions. I mean, like huge, on the beach. All of those were rebuilt within months after Hurricane Sandy. Meanwhile, our clients right down the street were living in, if they were lucky, gutted homes. If they were lucky, they were able to re-insulate their walls and their floors. And in New Jersey on the East Coast, winter's cold. So people were lucky to be living in gutted houses with insulation. That stark difference in recovery for families mere streets apart is why SBP exists. By challenging the traditional systems of disaster recovery that have historically overlooked underserved communities, we take steps towards building a more equitable country. So for those of you who might be new to SBP or may not know all the facets of our work, I want to take a minute to explain how the work and service that each of you does actively brings us closer to building that beloved community. So we rebuild homes focused on low to moderate income homeowners, including veterans, the elderly, and those under and uninsured. We don't just rebuild homes for families, we rebuild them to be resilient for future disasters to ensure that homes stay in the family and continue to generate generational wealth. It's hard to say. Enhanced by our AmeriCorps members and our volunteers, our rebuilding model is noted for its cost effectiveness, which, I mean, it allows us to help more clients. So we also share our model, as you know. SBP has no secret sauce. We have sauce, we have the sauce, but it's not a secret. Understanding the magnified impact through partners, we share our knowledge and our resources and our strategies to aid more families in rebuilding lives with hope and efficiency. And we don't care who brings the families home after disaster. We just care that they're brought home quickly, predictably, equitably. We prepare others through education. We reach millions of at-risk homeowners annually, educating them about risks and mitigation actions. And that builds resilience, not just in homes, but in individuals and in communities. So we're a learning organization and we're a teaching organization. It's said that knowledge is power, and that's true. But power in our country is not equitable. It's not equitable in our world either. SBP works to empower families across the country to know how to mitigate the risks of natural disaster. That's important. We also educate people on how to recover from disaster more quickly and in a way that gets disaster survivors what they deserve. A perfect example is our FEMA appeals work. It does just that. It ensures that our clients receive the maximum amount of FEMA recovery money that they're eligible for. And if you think about a homeowner who doesn't know that they can appeal an undercalculated FEMA award, a family that hasn't been afforded the comfort of their own home for 1 or 2 years after a storm, all they want is comfort of home. Many people don't know that they can appeal the first award given by FEMA, and that's where SBP comes in. We're educators, we're advocates, we're operators. We also advise leaders. We actively provide advisory services to municipal, state, and federal officials, ensuring equitable distribution of disaster recovery funds that address systemic inequities in funding. We know that no two disasters are the same. SBP has learned that. And we've also learned that the current recovery system in our country is slow. It's bureaucratic, it's full of red tape, and it was built on decades of inequity. We exist to break down that system and to show government leaders what it means to approach recovery with the most vulnerable of our citizens in mind. And last, we advocate for policy change. Our advocacy efforts aim to transform the disaster recovery industry, striving for policies that are inclusive and considerate of the most vulnerable populations. We have the data and we have firsthand experience to hold up a mirror to our current system of recovery and help those responsible for crafting and maintaining policy to take a long, hard look. It's in our DNA to want more and more and more of what we know is right. Policies that safeguard the most vulnerable in our communities and preserve their right to recover from disaster quickly, efficiently, and fully. So Dr. King posed the profound question, what are you doing for others? This question resonates deeply within the ethos of SBP, guiding our actions and our decisions every day. Our efforts in disaster recovery, they transcend response to catastrophe. They embody a commitment to uplifting the human spirit, to furthering justice and equity. One of the things that I personally find inspiring at SBP is our policy around a paid day off for volunteerism for our staff. While our daily jobs, of course, are dedicated towards the betterment of disaster recovery, I know that everyone here has their own calling. to help and to serve outside of SBP. So in honoring Dr. King's vision, I want to remind and encourage each of our staff members to use that day, use that one day per month and make it count. Maybe you feel a calling to volunteer on an SBP site. That's great. Or maybe you want to give your time at a food bank. What's important is that you don't waste that opportunity to make a real positive impact in our community. So in closing, let this day be a beacon of our commitment to service, compassion, the pursuit of just and equitable society. As we work with love, serve with purpose, and build with build with hope, we honor Dr. King's legacy and our impactful work at SBP every day. So I just want to express my gratitude, my personal gratitude and sincere thanks to each of you for your passion, your service, and your unwavering commitment to making a difference. As we honor Dr. King today, let us also recommit to carrying our vision and his vision forward in our work and our lives. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Kyle. All right, good morning, y'all. I'm going to reintroduce myself. I've had the privilege of meeting a lot of you virtually, and unfortunately, some of y'all have had to deal with me in person. Jokes aside, though, I'm grateful to be here this morning, grateful for this team. My name is Mike Sullivan, and I serve as SBP's National Director of AmeriCorps. I got my start with SBP as an AmeriCorps member, serving alongside some pretty incredible folks in the Rockaways, supporting families similar to Kyle and Seabright, supporting families recover from Superstorm Sandy. In preparation for today's call, through discussion with the wonderful committee that's helped pull this thing together, and gosh, this must have been a couple months back, but I remember having a conversation and Brandon shared a thought that's really resonated with me. And in fact, it's kind of inspired our theme for today. Service is a practice. It's a choice. I would argue that it's the right choice. It's not an event. It's not a chore. It's not something that you do every once in a while to get your feel goods in. It's a decision that we individually choose to make every day and choose to do what is right. And as Dr. King believed, service should be woven into the fabric of our everyday lives. So today, we honor Dr. King and his legacy. But we're also here to celebrate you, to celebrate us. We celebrate those in our communities putting in the work to make life better for everyone. This morning, I'd like to highlight a few members, or we would like to highlight a few members of our team today who, beyond their service at SBP, are active in their communities, contributing in vastly different ways, yet very aligned and very connected with Dr. King's vision for the beloved community. Andy, you can go to the next slide. Today, we celebrate Ian Bicko. Not only does Ian serve as SBP's HR and AmeriCorps program manager for our placement sites throughout Southeast Texas and Southwest Florida, Ian also works with our members in Panama City and those serving on our DAP team. In his spare time, Ian volunteers with the Bounce to Zero campaign. This is a group and campaign aimed at ending the HIV epidemic in New Orleans and reducing new HIV transmissions by 95% in 2030. For over a year, Ian has served on the planning committee and has spoken at events about the stigma in the medical field and state laws and within the religious community and workplace. Today, we celebrate Heather Carlos. Heather serves as a construction coordinator for our operations in New Orleans. And when Heather's not donning an AmeriCorps A on her shoulder, Heather is volunteering to provide transportation, to assist with errands, to provide groceries and other activities for veterans with disabilities throughout the New Orleans community through the local 8973 chapter of the VFW. Today, we celebrate Kate Austin. Kate is a two-time AmeriCorps member serving as a client services coordinator, formerly a disaster corps project lead in New Orleans. Kate also provides voluntary administrative support at Hotel Hope, a transitional housing space for women and children. And last but certainly not least, we celebrate Wendy Rainey. Wendy serves as a jack of all trades, construction coordinator, little client services, I think some volunteer coordinator in there as well, with our placement site, Winter Garden in Southwest Florida. And when Wendy takes off her AmeriCorps shirt, Wendy is clocking in hours as a volunteer with Winter Garden's food pantry that serves more than 500 families. And if Wendy wasn't already strapped for time, Wendy also volunteers with Free Mom Hugs, the Southwest Florida chapter of Free Mom Hugs that supports and celebrates the local LGBTQIA+ community. Y'all, this is the mom rule on the next level. And just a snapshot of what SB people are out here in this world doing. Before we wrap and move to this next section, I've got two thoughts. One, if you work alongside someone that needs to be celebrated, shout them out. I want to see the W's in the chat. Let's go. And then two, if any of what Heather, Ian, Wendy, or Kate, anything that they're doing is interesting to you, certainly reach out to them. I know that they'd love to connect you with ways that you can get involved. Brandon, I'd like to turn it back over to you to kick off our breakout session.
Thank you, Mike. So I'll just read through the prompts, and they will be pasted into the breakout room chats as well. But just for food for thought, exploring outside of service. Outside of SBP, do you engage in any other service activities in your community? Is there a cause or organization you've been interested in getting involved with, and what's stopping you? The challenges in fostering a beloved community. What obstacles or challenges do you face in volunteering or engaging in service outside of SBP? Can you share experiences, examples, or strategies for overcoming these challenges? And pledging to do more. How can you personally make a greater impact moving forward? What specific actions will you take to contribute towards Dr. King's vision?
All right, I'm working quickly to sign folks. Give me just a second.
Before the breakout rooms, we'll have 15 minutes to discuss these 3 points. And then we'll come back. Each group will select one person to report out for the group. So somebody be ready for that. And as soon as Mike gets everything kicked off, we'll begin. But if you want to go ahead and start thinking about these 3 questions, that would be excellent.